Hi there, my name's Andy Young and I'm one of the automotive lecturers down at Unitec in Auckland, New Zealand. And this is one of my basic skills videos. And on this video, we're going to wire up an accessory plug. Now we used to call these cigarette lighter socket plugs, you know, that you used to put in the cig socket, and you could run all sorts of stuff like CB radios and, well, little kettles and heaps of different accessories you could buy for your car, little fridge, that kind of stuff. I'm going to show you how to wire this up. I've got a bit of twin core cable, which is going to represent whatever it is that's on the end of this plug that it's powering. And with these kind of sockets, you can buy them from quite a few sort of motorist accessory shops. They're pretty cheap, but there are different types out there. There's some really easy ones to wire up, and ones that you can reuse again and again. They're good and strong and sturdy, and they work really well. And then there's the other type, which are not really very good at all. They tend to be the solder type, where you have to solder the wires onto contacts inside. They're a bit of a ball ache, to be honest with you, and you'll find the internals are a bit fiddly usually. I always try and source the ones that have the little screw terminals inside. It's much easier to wire up, and of course you can work on it, that kind of thing. This one, I have no idea of the brand. I got these in England. It's got a symbol on there, it looks like a bear with some kind of lightning fork holding on there, if you can see that. And it's got the letters DBGM, so whoever that is. But hey, if you're looking for them and you're in England, these are really good, and they're not that expensive either. Okay, so to cut a long story short, bit of wire, it's twin core, so we've got a positive, a red wire, and a negative, a black wire, and you'll see that shortly. And we're going to wire that up into one of these accessory plugs. That's the new term for them, isn't it? Accessory plugs. And lots of modern cars have got the accessory sockets all over the vehicle, some in the front, sometimes in the middle as well, and some in the boot for like fridges and things. So these are quite a commonly used item nowadays. Right, well, first of all, on this particular style of accessory plug, it's on a bayonet fitting, you just turn that, the red bit at the end, turn that, and that'll come off. And that then exposes this line. You can see that the whole casing is split into two. And all we need to do to get in there is undo one single posi screw. There we go, that's that done. And then we should very carefully just lift that off. Don't want to disturb all the bits and pieces because I only forget where they go. Okay, and inside we've got the center pin, which is the positive, with the connector, and of course the spring which holds it in place is also the negative. The outside of the socket on the car is battery negative, and there's the terminal for that. And we've also got here a cable clamp, so we're going to remove that first. We'll get rid of that, and that's the last thing to go back on later on. Okay, now by the way that these things are laid out, we're going to have to trim down the negative wire. The negative wire needs to be shorter than the positive. So if we cut first of all, I would say that maybe a bit more, that should be about enough. So this is trim back the black insulation off both those two wires at that point. And my chosen technique for this is just to nibble away with a pair of side cutters, because I don't want to damage the insulation inside, and I've found if you use a blade it's really easy to cause damage. Now if you just bear that around, just give it a pull in all directions, you'll find it'll snap any little tails that are left, and then you can remove that insulation. Okay, so how long now does the negative need to be? Well, we want that about there in the clamp. Let's turn that around. Okay, so we can probably cut the negative, go away, probably cut the negative about there, and trim that back about 5mm. There we go. And the positive really should be full length, so we'll just check that. Now we could probably trim about 5mm off the length of that positive wire. Okay, let's do that first. And then we can just bear that back about 5mm. There we go. Done. Okay, so to actually connect everything up, just slacken off those screws. And if you look underneath, see down there, look, we've got like the nut drops down and it leaves a little void, and that's where your cable goes. So we'll pop the positive in there first. There we go. Get it as far in as we can. We don't want exposed wires if we can help it. Tighten that up. There we go. And now we can slacken off the negative. And again, same sort of principle. We've got a little nut that drops down. Make sure we've got no whiskers on there. And then we can actually drop that in there as well. Okay. Right, now the next job is to just tuck those wires down that channel into there. And you can see here, look, this is where you're going to have, this is like a potential issue, is you've got the positive wire crossing over the top of and touching this earth spring here. And we need to make very much sure that there's insulation right up to that positive terminal, otherwise we're going to get a short circuit just there, look. Now also bear in mind, this is a non-fused type connector. Some of them have little fuses in this area here. So you may have to fit a fuse. If your unit needs to be fused, fit a fuse somewhere else. But don't forget, the actual feed to the cigarette lighter socket or the accessory socket will also be fused on the car as well. Usually a 10 amp fuse. Okay, what was I doing? Right, earth clamp. Now the earth clamp goes on there. That's one. Now there's two options with these earth clamps. You can put them either way up, depending on the thickness of your cable. And we've got quite a thick cable here, so I'm going to flick it around the other way. It's not often people use twin core cable for this kind of thing, but it looks a lot neater, to be honest. Right, stick that in there. And the cable's also something else you should be thinking about. What size cable does the consumer that you're wiring up going to need? You know, how many amps is it going to pull? Okay, so just double check that that's holding it in place, which it is. And now all we need to do now is put the top back on. Just make sure that everything's back where it should be. Stick the lid back on again. There we go. And the center retaining screw goes in. And then lastly, just that little red cover again. So back onto there, turn it around, it clicks into place. Done. So there you go, a really short video, nice and easy, how to wire up an accessory plug. Now, as I said earlier on, these fit into various sockets around the cars nowadays, and they're getting more and more popular. They're sort of starting to get phased out because, you know, smoking was becoming less and less common. But now we run all sorts of stuff with our cars. You know, we need this kind of stuff. We can't go anywhere without all our electronic devices these days. So wiring these things up is really easy, but it's also, you know, a skill that you need to know what to be aware of and how to do it. And if you're going to go out and buy these kind of plugs so you can wire stuff up to run in your car, then do check that you're buying yourself a decent one of a good quality, because there are some really bad quality ones out there. And they're a lot harder to wire up. If you've got to get a soldering iron, get solder and mess around like that, then it becomes a bit of a palaver. Okay, my name is Andy Young. I'm one of the automotive lecturers down at Unitech in Auckland, New Zealand. If you found this video helpful, then, you know, why not subscribe to the channel? There's lots of other videos covering heaps of different kinds of jobs within the workshop, on cars, motorcycles, all that kind of thing. If you have any questions or comments, then you can leave them down below. If you want to subscribe so you get notifications come through when new videos get uploaded, then please do subscribe to the channel. More the merrier, it all helps. And well, until next time, cheers for now. Over and out.